Be the wife or nothing at all, because the wife gets everything. The wife gets all the respect. The wife gets all the honor. The wife gets all the assets. The wife's children get all of the inheritance. The wife gets everything. Be the wife or nothing at all. Hello, this is Jeanette Howard with A House United, Marriage Plus Family. And I want to teach you some things that I teach my 6 daughters. This is part 1. Are you ready for part 1? It's going to be a little deep to some of you, may be controversial. It shouldn't be, but here's what I've been teaching my daughters for a long time. Be the wife or nothing at all. Yep, that's what they've been hearing for a long time. Be the wife or nothing at all. We don't do eternal girlfriends. We are not just baby mamas. We are not chicks on the side. We are not mistresses. We are not somebody's secret rendezvous. We are not, excuse the vernacular, booty calls. That is not what we do. We are the wife and we are nothing at all. Now, let me say this. To all of my sisters out there, you may be somebody's side chick right now, and you are somebody's baby's mama right now, or you may be somebody's mistress right now. I'm going to tell you this from my heart. I love you. Wherever you are, whatever you are, I love you. This is no shade. This is no condemnation. This is no judgment. This is not a critique. This is just what I teach my daughters. And so let me tell you a story to help you see why I teach my daughters this way and why this is really a personal, important message for me. It's really based on some experience. I want to tell you a little story. One of my earliest memories is going to my grandfather's funeral. And I must have been about 4 years old. And I know that because I was the fourth child of stair-steppers at the time. And my older siblings they obviously were at school because they didn't go to the funeral. I was the one that went to the funeral with my mother. I remember in that little shotgun house we lived in at the time, my mother putting a black little coat on me. I remember the little black patent leather shoes I had on. I remember my little white lace socks. And I remember my mom stooping down to put my coat on me. And I said, "Where are we going?" And she said, "To my father's funeral." I didn't even know my mother had a father. I had met her father. And so I remember I didn't know what a funeral was. But I remember going into this church, and I remember the box being, excuse me if I choke up because this is really a real memory for me. And I remember the box being at the front of the church, and I didn't even know, I just had never seen this scene before. But here's what's so significant about this memory of me at my mother's father's funeral, my grandfather. I remember sitting on the back row beside my mama at her own daddy's funeral. And that's because her mother was his mistress. And her father, the story goes, I know his name. He's, of course, gone on now, but he was a very wealthy landowner, black man in that little town in Arkansas. He was very well known. He had a wife and children, of course. I don't know them. I don't remember who they were, but they obviously were there at the front of the church, the wife and all of her children. And then my mother, whose mother was his mistress, and she was very beloved of her father, but she was a secret love child. And there she was sitting at the back of that church, and that was her father. But she was the mistress's child. And I remember my mother would talk about her father all the time. To us, she made sure we knew who he was. He owned a lot of land, and we would drive down in the country, and she would point and say her daddy owned all of that land. But she got nothing because her mother wasn't the wife. Her mother was the mistress. And without saying anything, my mother never taught me this, but it became a way of being for me, something that I've observed over the years, and I've taught it to my daughters. Is you will be the wife or you will be nothing at all, because the wife gets everything. The wife gets all the respect. The wife gets all the honor. The wife gets all the assets. The wife's children get all of the inheritance. The wife gets everything. If you think about even from a spiritual perspective, the blessing is on the wife. The blessing is not on the girlfriend. The blessing is not on just the baby mama, the chick on the side, the mistress, the booty call. Yeah. It doesn't matter what he says to you. It doesn't matter what he promises you. It doesn't matter what sweet things he's whispering in your ear, sis. It doesn't matter what kind of financial arrangement he might have with you, taking care of things. The wife, his wife, has everything. The law is on the side of the wife. Yeah, the wife is the one always in the power seat, sis. So yeah, I train my daughters, and I just want to shed the light with you. Be the wife or be nothing at all. God bless. See you next time for part 2.